Harry looks like he's 10 there, but there he looks like he's 17, which makes Dumbledore look like a child rapist. So, this is the second to last of the review series part of the Harry Potter Extravaganza. Today will be Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, the book and the movie, are tied for my favorite book and movie, ironically tied with both the book and movie of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I love both the book and the movie of each of those two for largely the same reasons, and any complaints I have about it are pretty much the same. The reason I love the book so much is just pure awesome narrative. I love all the pensive scenes. Because it's essentially Dumbledore and Harry going on this journey together, and that's what I love about it, because they've always had a somewhat interesting yet strained relationship. Obviously, problems brought about in Order of the Phoenix, and now Dumbledore's really taking Harry under his wing, and it's this really cool journey through time and through memory, something I really loved because you get so much rich backstory, and it kind of interrelates all the source material from all 6 books so far released at the time, and kind of connects them together with this fluidity that I really loved, finding out all this back information. And the movie, oh my god, I was actually just watching it because I love this movie. First off, the visual style is absolutely stunning, very similar to Prisoner of Azkaban, but there's this blue-green tinge of saturation throughout the whole movie, and it just looks so beautiful on top of the cinematography. But the cinematography in Harry Potter movies is always amazing. That is something I look forward to every time I see one of the new movies. I love cinematography as a quality of film. I think it is a great way of portraying something from behind the camera, trying to get some certain points across, and I think Harry Potter, I don't know the cinematographer's name or the team of cinematographers, but they do an amazing job on each movie, and it is some of the best that I've seen in film, and I do not say that lightly. The score in this movie works so well to complement that visual style. I mean, some of the things when they're looking out over the grounds when they're going down to Hagrid's for Aragog's burial, even that almost got me choked up because it's so beautiful, but there's such this ominous tone. There was an addition that they made right before the lightning struck tower part of the movie. They have McGonagall kind of going out no dawdling, go to your houses, she knew something was wrong, because there's and the music they're playing, it is so tense. There's this ominous feel. That is one of the things I love about Half-Blood Prince. Another thing, more so for the book, is that it really, for Goblet of Fire, you don't get the traditional Hogwarts, and Prisoner of Azkaban, Order of the Phoenix, you don't get the traditional Hogwarts, because things are kind of changed. Goblet of Fire, you have the Triwizard Tournament, making everything different, but even at that, Order of the Phoenix, everything's different because of Umbridge. Everything kind of sucks at Hogwarts, so this is the last time we get to see the fun of Hogwarts that we loved coming off of Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. It's kind of that last hurrah for kind of the childhood innocence, exemplified by all the love triangles and love stories, which I think they kind of overdid in the movies, just a little slightly, because it took away from some other things that it probably would have been better for them to focus on. But that's one thing I love. It's our last kind of stay in Hogwarts, really, and they have a mixture of showing that things are changing, things are very dark now, but at the same time there's that last reminiscence of fun. The book is also Snape-centric, I think, because something that was not done very well in the film, and this is one of the things that I do have a small complaint with, is the Half-Blood Prince storyline. Because yes, it's the title of the movie. Why is this title the Half-Blood Prince? He's not even in it. Because the story is really muffled up. It's very very minimized for some reason, because it's an overlying theme throughout the book. It is not that big of a thing even in the book, but at the same time it is a Snape-centric book, so when you find out it's Snape, it has more meaning, because we in Order of the Phoenix, we learned some things about Snape that kind of change our feelings towards the character, or at least change our knowings of the character. This is when Snape finally gets the Defense Against the Dark Arts job. Obviously, Snape kills Dumbledore, the circumstances of which not yet revealed entirely, but it is very focused on Snape, and I think in the movie we don't get as much of that, because when he's like, yeah, that's right, I am the Half-Blood Prince, you're like, oh, that's what this movie's called. Instead of kind of this run of full circle when you're seeing these things in the Half-Blood Prince book, and you're trying to discern like who this guy really is, and then when you find out who it is, it brings things full circle, and I think it is kind of missed in the movie. In addition to the titles, a lot of people do complain about the titles, like why is it called this or why is it called that, because once you get past like the 4th book, there's dual stories going on. In the first one, it's really focused on the Sorcerer's Stone as much as, well, in addition to the exposition, because it's all new. Chamber of Secrets, really focused on the Chamber of Secrets, that's about it. Prisoner of Azkaban, really Harry just trying to discern, lies and truths of his past, that's about it. Goblet of Fire, we both have now the Voldemort Rising story, and then the Triwizard Tournament. In Order of the Phoenix, we have the actual Order of the Phoenix, and then the defense group, so we have those two, and then in Half-Blood Prince, we have the big story of going into memories and with Dumbledore and finding out Voldemort's past and Horcruxes, and then in addition, we have the Half-Blood Prince story. Even in Deathly Hallows, it's just a big struggle. Hollows are Horcruxes, even though they are kind of one in the other. So anyway, moving past that, it's really not that big of a deal, but I think that is one thing they could have done a little bit better in the Half-Blood Prince movie. But there are so many things that I think they just adapted perfectly. Visually stunning, the acting was amazing. Like things I've read in the book, and they just came to life on screen in the way it really hasn't in the series before. Like the cave, that was so amazing. One thing I pointed out, I don't know if I brought this up before, about Richard Harris. Now, Richard Harris, I think, played the perfect Dumbledore for the first 2 books, and I've mentioned that Dumbledore's character really does change with the 3rd book on, and obviously Richard Harris was still alive, or the Harry Potter movie series really hadn't started by the time Prisoner of Azkaban came out, so I don't think that's why, but I think Dumbledore's character really has to change to support new material, and it kind of fits with the times. He's got to have more vitality. As much as I love the Richard Harris portrayal of Dumbledore, I can't picture him in the cave, on his knees, grappling for his life. I just can't picture him doing that. And Michael Gambon pulled through. I think that was one of the best performances I've seen throughout the series, is Michael Gambon pulling off the potion that he drinks to get to the Horcrux and begging for death. I was like, how are they going to do this without making it almost laughable? Because it very easily could have been. And the chemistry between him and Daniel Radcliffe throughout the entire movie in that scene was just the climax of drama and intensity. And Slughorn, Jim Broadbent, another just a great addition to the series of amazing actors, British actors doing amazing performances. He brings this bubbly joy to Slughorn that I saw within the books, and he's just such a lovable character, and throughout the entire movie he's both hysterical, and I loved every second he was on screen. I know a lot of people didn't like the Burrow burning scene. I was kind of weird because I'm like, there's a wedding there in a couple months, you can't burn it down, but I think it definitely, because we're kind of taken away for Half-Blood Prince. There's no direct contact with the alive Voldemort as much as there's flashbacks or memories. There's no big scenes with Death Eaters or anything. So we're kind of taken away from all the anger that we felt at the end of Order of the Phoenix with Sirius dying, so we have to have Bellatrix come back to kind of revitalize that anger and kind of that hostility, and I think that's what they were aiming for, and they did it well. Daniel Radcliffe did so well with the Felix Felicis. He was almost like drunk. It was or high, I don't know. He was just an amazing performance there. And while they did kind of overdo it in the movies, or make it more the scope, I think the love stories were all done very well. And they made Lavender hysterical. So obviously something I loved so much in the books were the memories, and they really didn't do as much Pensieve as I think they should have in the movies, because you can definitely see the effects of them leaving out certain things with the Gaunts. Nothing about Voldemort's parents really, other than the orphanage scene. Nothing with that old lady with all of the artifacts and stuff. So we miss a lot of backstory. There's a couple scenes in the book where Dumbledore explains why Voldemort chose these Horcruxes as Horcruxes, and his reasoning behind doing so, and I think I definitely see the effects of that coming to for Deathly Hallows Part 2 is because Dumbledore lists that he's most likely going to take something or a Horcrux for Ravenclaw just because that's what he's doing, and we already know that he's most likely taken the Goblet of Hufflepuff, and so taking out that information from Half-Blood Prince, you have to do kind of some, you have to change things up for Deathly Hallows Part 2, and I think they should have just let that information in. But nonetheless, it was an amazing movie, and it is tied for my favorite book as well. I think all the performances, even Tom Felton and Alan Rickman, everybody was just so amazing. I loved what Joe did in the first 2 chapters by having the non-Harry narrative, or, you know, one was from the Prime Minister and the other one was Narcissa and Bellatrix. I really like that because it gives a great backstory without having some random way of Harry knowing about it. And that's something, too, they really don't explain much about the change between Scrimmager and Fudge in the movies, but yet again, you can't have everything. For what they did take from the book, they did it pitch perfectly. It is tied for my favorite movie and tied for my favorite book. I just love them so much. For me, they're classics, and I'll give a 10 out of 10 to the movie. I'll probably be making another video today, and tell me guys, what do you think of the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince movie or book or both? Tell me below.